Hello and welcome back to Coach Quant. Today we're going to be looking at a problem on coin flips. This is a really common problem on quant interviews, and it's pretty straightforward once you know the solution, but it can be kind of tricky to figure out how to get there. So let's dive right in. Suppose you have a coin that lands on heads with an unknown bias. So you have a coin, and we know there's a certain probability P of heads. And this probability is unknown, so it's not necessarily 50%. It could be anything. Um, and so we want to use this coin, which could be 20% probability of heads, could be 80% probability of heads, to simulate a fair coin that gives us heads or tails with equal probability. Of course, with a normal coin, we have a 50% chance of getting heads and a 50% chance of getting tails. And so just flipping that normal coin can give us heads or tails with equal probability. But now we want to simulate a 50% scenario using this coin, which is not necessarily fair. And so we're only given one coin, right? So if you're working on this problem, the first thing you should realize is we're only given one coin, and the only thing you really do with the coin is flip it. So somehow we have to go from some method, right? Some method of flipping the coin is supposed to get us um, some type of 50-50 process. So somehow we have to flip this coin to get a 50-50 process, to get a fair process. And so there must be some method of doing this. Otherwise, it wouldn't be asking the question. And so one thing to consider is that um, while the probability of getting heads is P and the probability of getting tails is 1 minus P, right? I mean, that's given even though it's an unfair coin. That we know is true. There must be a way to get equal probability out of this, to get two different events which have equal probability. And the first thing you might consider is P times 1 minus P, right? What if we get heads and then tails, right? First heads and second tails. The probability of this, well, the probability of this is getting P in the first case, and then 1 minus P for tails in the second case, and we just multiply the two. And then we can switch this around and get tails first and then heads. And it doesn't really matter the order we do them in, the probability will still be the same. First, the probability of getting of tails is 1 minus P, and the probability of getting heads second is P. And these are the same, right? These two things are the same. And so, if we think of flipping this coin, if we think of each coin flip, right? Each coin flip is really two flips, right? Each coin flip, we now think of flipping a coin as flipping this coin twice. What is our space? Well, we could get heads, heads. We get heads, tails. We get tails, heads. We get tails, tails. But we know the probability of these are the same. So if we do just rounds of two flips of this coin, and we throw out all the cases of heads, heads, and tails, tails, we're left with a fair coin, right? We either get heads, tails, right? Or we get tails, heads. And both of these have a p times 1 minus p probability of happening, right? And so if we condition on this, if we get either heads, tails, or tails, heads, right, as our new heads and tails, this is now a fair coin. This is a method of flipping this unfair coin that gives us a 50-50 process. And that's the answer to the question. This is a tricky one with a pretty simple solution once you realize it, but it can be tricky. A lot of these questions are tricky. We have many, many more practice questions like these on our website, coachquant.com. I highly recommend you check it out. They're all free. The questions, hints, solutions, they're all free, and they will help you immensely in preparing for your quant interviews. You can select the firm you're interviewing for, filter by past questions from that firm, and by difficulty and by all sorts of different factors to make sure you're learning exactly what you need to learn to do well in your interviews. Thank you.